Today guys, we're taking a look at one of Yeezy brand's most popular sneaker models. Now yes, granted it is still met with plenty of people that strongly dislike this sneaker, but judging on the fact that I've never been able to get one for retail, where are these people that dislike it? These things sell out every single time, instant. Either way, this is a really exciting new colorway, one that I'm eager to get into, so let's cut to it. Let's get straight into it. Today we're taking a look at the Yeezy Foam Runner in the Stone Sage colorway. Alright, we still have the different Yeezy style box. You know, it's nice to get something a little bit different without the text on the top. So, I mean, if you've never seen a Foam Runner box, it's pretty much just this with a small barcode on the top. But popping it open and you're met with the actual text, so it's basically a reverse style box. But the sneaker itself, or the shoe itself, is super clean. The Yeezy Foam Runner Stone Sage. Again, for anybody who's never seen a Foam Runner box, I will give you just a little quick look at what that looks like. I've even seen some people flip it all over inside out, and it kind of looks like more of a traditional Yeezy box, but yeah, that's what it looks like. Man, these are nice, and they are actually pretty different to the pictures that are online. In my opinion, when you see them, they seem a lot more darker and a lot more, I guess, gray. I mean, the main Foam Runner colorway that I'm wearing right now is the sand colorway, so I mean, these things may just become a new throw-on in my rotation. I mean, it is still pretty cold outside. In the UK, rain probably isn't gonna let me just stroll out in a pair of these. But come spring, summertime, these things are getting put to work. I do think that they released these at kind of like a perfect time. You know, we're kind of leading up to spring, summertime, where I think you'll get the most wear out of these things. Speaking of the release, March the 11th is when these dropped. That was yesterday, and of course they retail for £75 here in the UK or $80 out in the US. Retail price is always a little bit of a strange one because you can look at it at two different ways. You can always think of it like, 80 bucks for a piece of foam that probably costs next to nothing to make, or 80 bucks for something I'm gonna wear just as much as any other sneaker, or sometimes even more if I'm wearing these around the house. And resale is obviously a whole different story. I mean, what it seems like with most Foam Runners is they just keep going up over time. Like, I guess the cheapest one was the ochres. Even those have been moving up. It used to be the mineral blues. Now look at those things. They're like double the price that they used to be. It's insane. So yeah, it just seems like over the long term, these only get more expensive. But for right now, these are currently at about £120, £130, so it's definitely not as bad as some of the other colorways. So what is up with this colorway? Should you get it over any of the other ones? Is it more special? Well, I actually think this may be, and it might be a hot take, but I think it may be my second favorite colorway in the entire Yeezy Foam Runner lineup. I'm not kidding, they killed the color on this. It's super wearable. Now this is an MX version, so if you didn't know, the Foam Runners come in two different variants, either in MX, meaning mixture, or just the regular solid color one. Now it's not just a colorway change because all of the mixture effect ones are all made and manufactured in China, whereas the solid color ones are in the USA. In terms of the actual physical difference, there's not much. I mean, maybe a very slight texture difference from the China to the USA pairs, but other than that. They fit the same, they feel the same, they're just as comfortable. So this MX version is definitely more subtle than some of the other mixture patterns that we've seen. Like, this is really not too contrasting colors. I mean, from afar, can you even tell that this is a mixture version? But obviously up close you start to see those swirling patterns, and it's really interesting because you can't quite put your finger on what kind of colors are swirled in here. I mean, to me this kind of just is a darker, more slate kind of gray color, and then mixed in there, maybe it could be just darker and lighter grays, maybe a bit of sage, obviously from the name stone sage, but it's really hard to tell. If you're someone who wasn't a big fan of those really contrasty mixture colors, then this is probably something you're a little bit more of a fan of. Gotta say, it gives it like a very faint camo look to it, which I really like, especially around the back of it and of course around on the bottom of the shoe. Now you're probably well aware that these dropped alongside a second colorway called Mist. And that Mist colorway is pretty much identical to the ochre colorway, so again, this was really the standout colorway for me. It was something a little bit different, and it definitely is a very wearable option. And specifically what I mean by that is just the amount of outfits and the amount of colors that you can throw on with this pair is super broad, so it's going to be an easy one to throw into the rotation, especially if this is going to be your first pair of foam runners. I think it's a really safe and nice option to go with. Now when it comes to wearing this sneaker and obviously the comfortability factor, that is pretty much what sells a lot of people on this pair of shoes. Like, it's just such an easy wear and it is incredibly comfortable. Like, you can throw these things on and you're just immediately surrounded by super soft cushioned foam. It's super breathable. I mean, obviously you've got ginormous gaps in the side of it. Now of course, in terms of sizing, this is something that a lot of people kind of are asking me about or just don't particularly know. I personally go true to size with foam runners. I will say, because they don't do half sizes in the foam runner, I would say if you are a half size, go a half size up to the next full size, if that makes sense. Another huge pro for the foam runner is how easy these things are to clean. Like, take a look at this sand colorway. Now take a look at the bottom. You can see, yes, it has been worn and you can kind of see the wear in around at the bottom, but that's pretty much it. You know, if you get any scuffs or any dirt on it, you just wipe it off. And this is one of the brighter colorways, so if you have one like this, it's going to hide a lot of those marks, and it's super easy just to get a brush and just scrub the bottom, scrub the sides, and it's back to brand new. So I think there's a lot of pros about this pair of shoes. It's an easy one. Now obviously the design is not for everyone, and that's completely understandable. It's a pretty crazy looking pair of shoes. Certainly when these things first came out, they were one of the craziest shoes that were out there, but I think people have warmed up to them. I mean, these still remain to be one of the most, if not the most popular Yeezy model. Managed to get a pair, you should count yourself lucky. And if you're looking at grabbing one, maybe grab a pair of these sooner before they go up in price. I don't know. Let me know what you think of the Yeezy Foam Runner Stone Sage. But that pretty much wraps it up. Thank you guys so much for coming through, hanging out for yet again another one. Thank you for liking, commenting, and of course subscribing. I'll catch you guys in the next one. But until then.